Hello tubesters, it's me Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're just having a catch up on these, we'll just put this one aside, catch up on these Empress Miniatures 28mm metal British Airborne for Arnhem. You can use them for whether they're the parachute regiment battalions or the air landing brigade, which is glider borne infantry. Really nice figures again, sculpted by Paul Hicks, who does a lot for the Empress Miniatures ranges. Yeah, just really like them. I've given the webbing the beige oatmeal type webbing. You can do the green or the beige, and I'm calling it beige, but you know, I went with that for a change because I quite often do the green webbing on them. But yeah, so I just bought 2 packs just to see. I'm only selling these, they're not for my own collection, and I bought 2 packs just to see how they paint up. Well, I knew they paint up on nicely, but and obviously just to sell on. I've put the little airborne qualification wings. I take it they're on both sides of the Denison smock and not just on one. Not done it overly, just simplistic, and it's not done overly, you know, it's not done to stand out too much from the webbing. I've not bothered dirtying any of these up. I'm going to be puttying around the base. I left that. Sometimes I'll putty the base first before I even prime the figure. In this case, I didn't, because I wanted to put some little bits and pieces around it. It was just easier to merge the putty in with the, you know, with the scatter that I'm going to put on. But yeah, very nice. Love painting these actually. So I've just got the 2 packets, and I've only done the 4 so far, as in painted rather than based. But I just thought they were worth a video. I've just put an order in for Empress. Nothing to do actually with their airborne range. I've just bought some Zulu war figures to paint and sell, and a packet of. For ages, I needed 3 figures. I think I've got my own collection of Indian Mutiny. Well, I say own collection. 1 battalion, which is my own regiment, well, predecessor of my regiment, but. So I bought a packet of figures to just finish that off for the first of my Indian Mutiny figures, and I thought, well, I really liked the look of some. There was a British infantry that I fancied doing for the Zulu Wars campaign, so I'll paint those next, and if I can sell these, I shall also get some more airborne and a few extra late war British infantry for Northwest Europe. Because I've got a few figures left over and I can make up a unit for these. This isn't going to ever be a unit, as I say. They were just 2 bags of figures I bought just to see what everybody was shouting out how good they were, and I'd seen them on their website, and I just thought, well, I'll give them a go. Made the faces slightly warmer, a bit more glowing, but yeah, I really like them. Again, the rifle slings and that can be the green, the faded green colour, a bit like the putties here, or anklets, ankle gaiters, whatever you want to call them. Didn't make any of these at NCOs like the Lance Corporal or anything like that. I might do one with the on the other 4 I've got. I say if you're interested in the flesh is what is the flesh, Gav? The flesh. Let me put this down for a second. The flesh is AK beige red, and then just mix in how many base flesh you want. And this is Vallejo, but anything I will say Don't go on brands or even what it says, just go on the look of the bottle, bearing in mind it will dry slightly darker. But just keep that mixing into your pool of beige flesh, and then they are this. I mean, sometimes I'll just even depending what I've got on the palette. Any red hues on the flesh we'll put in by this carmine red, because I happen to have it at hand. My favourite colour, probably of all the paint ranges, because they go in so well with everything, is the amaranth red. See, well used, and that gives you that orangey tint to the skin. And to have a slightly darker, colder tint, we have Game Vallejo colour, magenta. Again, you could use dark red, you don't have to use a magenta. But I put those in, it's just only subtly most of the time. I bet we're not even going to see anything on here, are we? You just know it, don't you? So subtle, Gav can't really show you any of it. No, it's not really showing up. But there's magenta anyway. If you follow what I do, I put it in the magenta goes in the shadow areas of the cuffs, in the around any strapping on the helmet and under the cheeks, as you can see there. And then I will put sometimes if you want a warm skin tone, obviously use scarlet. I mean, I just use that carmine red, which is a bit colder in the hue, like colour temperatures of colours. But it's, again, at this scale, it's not like you're doing a bust. So any type of reds, as long as it's watered right down. I mean, you don't want him looking like he's come out of the circus. And then I'll put that also in the cheek areas, in the nose. I usually put magenta in the nose, and I usually put the magenta in the eyes as well before I put a little tiny dot of white and well, I say white, it's never white, it was silver grey in there. Don't put bright white in, cold white into the eyeballs, because they'll stand out like fried eggs. Yeah. Anything else? And then you put your amaranth orange on top. Again, this is all really watered down. Don't put it on heavy, thick, because it will look ridiculous. And then I'll go back to the basic skin tone and just put like dots on the nose and maybe on the cheeks and stuff. And if it's too white standing out, obviously on the knuckles and stuff, I'll just get again some of the amaranth and that, and just wash it over, just tone it down a bit. I use rubber black for lining out anything. These are painted in the Vallejo polyurethane, is it, or whatever it is. But you see, I use it quite a lot, which is the ghost grey. So they're not primed in black. So I tend to go around things that I want to stand out, to put defined lines on, and I'll use rubber black just to do that. So on the scrim around the helmet, the scrim is the netting that's on the helmet, and then obviously it's dyed Hessian sack, the same as they'd make sandbags out of, and they just dye the green, dye this Hessian green, and I'll put a wash of that over getting all the little scrim holes, and then around it defines the this is after I put a base colour in. It defines the scrim and the Hessian, and then I just go over the Hessian again with a couple of brighter colours. I tend to do brighter colours than some, but it's not like saturated colours. It's not like something like the Spanish school of painting. It's not overly saturated or anything. It's just, I like most of my figures, my Vietnam War figures for my own collection, that they often are more dirtied up. But it just depends. You sometimes have to think of the scale of the figure. Yes, you could cover him in dust and stuff, but if he's already got a camouflage, which obviously the Denison smock is, if he's already got a camouflage smock on, you putting dirt all over it, it's just going to muck your camouflage up. So I keep my figures fairly clean. It's just my take on doing stuff. These are shiny because obviously it's not been varnished yet, so that'll dull down where I've put the hobnails on his boots. The blue's shining up a lot more on the camera for the blued metal on the Bren, and I deliberately put a brighter spot blue on the top. But when it's actually down there, it doesn't. It looks proper scale wise. But yeah, I do like lighter colours on the whole than they probably would be, just because you've got to think of the scale of the figure. If you go putting on colours that are absolutely authentic, and that's great, but they don't always transcribe to a painted figure, not at this scale anyway, in my opinion. So again, I'll just use the same this is aluminium from AK on there. Just put some on the butt plate there because it wasn't brass on as far as I've seen on Bren guns. But once you put like most metallics, once you put a varnish coat over, that'll dull down anyway. So these are the 4 that I'm going to be working on next. I just started cleaning them up yesterday and I had to stop. Again, lovely poses. So that one. Again, it was just one packet of 4 riflemen. It comes in packs of 4. They do some nice deals if you go on Empress. They do some nice unit deals, and that's how I got the Zulu War figures that are coming. Here's our only Berade one. I did. If I was doing it for myself, that parachute regiment cap badge would definitely come off. Sorry, it would. It'd be replaced with a Staffordshire nut for the South Staffords, who were in the Air Landing Brigade and were the forerunner to my regiment. But I'm selling them, and unfortunately, I know that the Air Landing Brigade won't sell as well as the parachute regiment. So he gets to keep his cap badge. Because the Air Landing Brigade were dressed, they bore the maroon beret, and the Denisons, they had everything on that the parachute regiment would have on, except for obviously the parachute qualification wings and stuff like that. The only bit of gluing you have to do is the bipods on these. I wonder sometimes if they're not a bit long, because when I come to fold them in, they seem a lot longer than I think myself personally the Bren gun would have. I mean, it would actually be mounted on this piece here. I've pushed it artificially back there because it was just a better locking in position, and I thought, well, people aren't going to see that at the end of the day. I decided to have the bipod out on this one, but what I normally do is, for me personally, is cut the legs of the bipod. I cut them in half and then just make them slightly shorter. Probably not in scale with the Bren gun, but it just works for me better. So this guy here, not perfect, but it'll do. So yeah, I just thought he's just picked the Bren gun up from he's been firing in this position, and he's got up and he's advancing, just putting a couple of rounds down at a time. But yeah, in light order on this one again with no pack on. And we've got a line figure. He's got a scrim like cover over him. Didn't make a great job, so I struggle when you've got the strap for the Bren gun, the sling for the Bren strap. Not very military gun. The sling for the Bren gun. I've always been struggling getting the bipod legs to sit in a decent position. So again, I just cut them down slightly, and they're still not brilliant now, but they're better than they could be. And I'll just mount that. When I put it on a base, I'll put some bit of rubble or something. I mean, you could obviously put the bipod down. I'll have to get some pliers as well and pull that. The only thing I saw was this piece here. and I couldn't work out if it was slightly, if that's infill, or if it's, I was trying to look at the trousers and seeing how wide they were vis-a-vis each other, because I couldn't work out if that's a bit of chunky infill. And I thought, do I get my Dremel and hack it out? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put some putty in there, because I'm looking at the side there, it looks like that was sculpted in. So I'm going to put some green stuff in there and just putty it out and say it's a part of the trousers. So yeah, there we go. Lovely sculpts, paint up really well. Not huge mould lines, they're fresh figures, they shouldn't really have, you know, like entrenched mould lines on them, and they don't. Just obviously watch your barrels, just give them a nice filing. These have got the ends, by the look of it, of, I think that's supposed to be hobnail, but I just pick them out. If they're not, if they're flat, I just pick them out with some you know, metallic paint, because British boots were hobnailed. But yeah, very, very nice. I've enjoyed. There hasn't been any figures yet. I haven't done all their ranges, obviously, but there hasn't been any figures that I've not enjoyed painting. Always beautifully sculpted, lovely poses, and well researched. And I just always enjoy painting them. They are my, you know, and I have no connection to them whatsoever. They're just my company to go to, if that makes sense. If I, you know, obviously they only do metal figures. So if you want metal figures, they really are nice. Not the cheapest out there, but to be honest with you, with metal these days, what is cheap? But that, again, as I say, they try and help you out doing some deals as well. And you know, I get my calculator on my phone and just check, because every company says they do you a deal, and you work out, and you might have saved about 30 pence, but they do work. The deals do work out quite well. So yeah, as I say, thanks for following along. I've been putting these up occasionally on the you know, what they call it, the where you put the posts, the community tab. So thanks to any guys that have put a comment and a like on those, as I've just been putting the photographs up. Next time you see them, these should hopefully be based, varnished and put aside, and these guys should be going through the painting process. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. Look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other very soon on another video.